Once, in a quiet suburban village, lived twin brothers, Anderson and Jackson, both 13 years old. They lived with their parents, Jessica, a school teacher in the village, and their father, a mechanic who repaired tractors and agricultural vehicles. Despite earning little, they led a simple, happy life. Anderson was the studious one, a classic nerd. Brilliant at academics, but socially awkward. He struggled to connect with classmates, but was incredibly kind. He helped with chores, tutored his brother, and earned respect from the neighbors. But in school, Anderson was bullied relentlessly, and he never found the courage to fight back. Jackson, on the other hand, was the confident twin. Good-looking, social, and a little hot-headed. He loved helping his father fix machines and often spent hours in the mechanic shed. He occasionally helped with chores, but his passion lay in gears, bolts, and engines. And he loved his brother. One day, Anderson came home with bruises on his face and arms. His mother, Jessica, asked what happened. "I fell on the road," Anderson replied, forcing a smile. Jackson knew the truth. That night, Jackson silently followed one of Anderson's bullies home. Just before the boy reached his doorstep, Jackson struck. He covered the bully's mouth with a sock and dragged him into a dark alley. A brutal assault followed, a blow to the throat to silence him, a shattered leg under his boot. A sharpened pen punctured the left kidney, slicing through muscle to the right. And finally, Jackson pressed his foot against the boy's neck until silence. By morning, the village was shaken. The death was gruesome, unthinkable. Anderson was called to the principal's office, but he had an alibi. He was home with his parents. No suspicion. Yet, Anderson had doubts. Jackson was missing that night and returned late. Still, he said nothing. To protect his brother. To protect the secret. Weeks passed. The fear faded. Then Jackson struck again. This time, the second bully. He took a nail gun from his father's shed and followed the boy. Hidden behind an old shack, he fired a nail into the bully's leg. The boy screamed, sobbing, begging. Jackson stepped closer. Another nail through the left lung. Blood splattered. The boy collapsed, gasping. Jackson knelt beside him, looked deep into his terrified eyes. The boy begged, "I won't hurt anyone again." Jackson grinned. "This isn't just about my brother," he whispered. "I love the sound of screams." And with that, a nail to the skull. Anderson now knew the truth. He confronted Jackson, told him to stop. But Jackson convinced him it was for the best, that now Anderson could live in peace at school. No more bullies, no more pain. Anderson was torn. He feared Jackson, but he also trusted him, loved him. Soon, the school shut down for a month. Rumors of a serial killer spread across the village. Everyone was scared. Yet, during that month, the brothers spent time together, playing catch, helping with chores, laughing. Their parents were relieved. Jessica smiled. "Finally, Anderson seems happy," she whispered one evening. One day, while heading to the market, Jessica peeked into the boys' room. Anderson smiled warmly. "We're just playing games, Mom." Jessica beamed. "You always find a way to be happy, Anderson." They left. But days later, arguments erupted. Nights filled with shouting, footsteps, thuds. Jessica grew concerned. One afternoon, she heard a loud crash and rushed to Anderson's room. She opened the door to find Jackson choking Anderson, slamming him to the floor. Jessica froze, eyes wide, sweat trickling down her face. Anderson cried out, "Mom, Jackson killed those bullies, and now he's threatening more people." Jackson, furious, snapped Anderson's leg. He looked at Jessica and shouted, "He told me to! He made me do it!" Anderson, sobbing in agony, yelled, "He's lying! He's dangerous! A psychopath!" Then Jackson pulled out the nail gun. Bang! Anderson collapsed, still. Jessica dropped to the floor, cradling his body. "Anderson, wake up, please!" Suddenly, Anderson opened his eyes, crying, shaking. "Sorry, Mom. I've been having these bad dreams. I'm trying to overcome them." Jessica hugged him tightly, but behind her, Anderson's face twisted into a wicked smile. Rewind. It was always Anderson. There never was a twin. The bullying, the loneliness, the trauma gave birth to Jackson, a second personality. At first, Jackson was harmless, a protector, but eventually, he enjoyed the pain, the screams. Anderson tried to suppress him, tried to regain control, but the damage was done. When Jessica witnessed Anderson fighting Jackson, she saw her son choking himself. Her innocent mind couldn't comprehend it. In that moment, the real Anderson died inside, and Jackson, his violent, dominant alter, took over. Forever. That's why. He smiled. Now that Jackson is free, no more resistance, no more fear, no more Anderson, only silence and the echo of a wicked smile. What will he do next?